Okay, it's the 30th of March 2012, and this is the third in the series where I look back at my signals that I gave for the previous year. These are just the signals I gave, not all the signals given by the company, because I know the reasons why I gave my own signals more than I do other people's. So let's see how it went. So if we click on this is our focus site where we give the signals for clients, and if you click past conferences, then we can look back at how the website looks at any date in the past. So if we go to April, I think it's the 11th when I gave my first signals for this particular month. So you can see them down here. So these previous ones you can see up here I covered in the previous focus signal videos that I've done for you. And the first one on the list here is on the Austrian Market, the ATX. So let's see what's said there. So a bit like the FTSE, if the FTSE goes a bit higher, it's going to get to my level. If this goes a bit higher, it might get to 12.5% and the next angle. So I'll be watching it at this level here for some kind of shorting opportunity. Okay, so in this one on Austria, I said that I was looking for a shorting opportunity on reaching the angle, and this percentage and some of the reasons which I didn't give in the video. And the first thing to remember, as usual, is that the trend of the Austrian market was very much upwards. We've had a reaction down, and we're having a very strong rise up. So I'm looking for a reason to short the market. I'm not looking to buy the market. Now unfortunately it didn't quite get to the level I was looking for to actually make the trade, but I was completely right, because what happened was the market collapsed, and you can see that it was quite a hefty collapse, and then that's what the market looks like up to date. So although it didn't signal, I was completely right that I thought the Austrian market was going to fall significantly. Now the next signal that I gave was on the same day, was the FTSE 100. So if we click on that one, FTSE 100 cash chart, and for an explanation of the reasons why I want to do it, I just put a video in the training videos to explain the complete thing. But this is pretty speculative. We've had some bad news. The market's collapsed on here when we had the earthquake in Japan, and we had the Libyan riots, and before that we had the riots in Egypt. And I'm a great believer in never to do things when there's a news reason for it, and the news reason actually came out down here. I think that was the day of the earthquake. So it's usually too late by then, and most of the movement was over. Usually what happens after news events is the market rallies a lot to catch out the people who actually shorted on the bad news, but then the market then goes. And so what I'm looking for, if you watch the video in the training videos, I'm looking if it stops exactly or pretty much exactly on the 1 by 1 calendar day angle here at 75%, which you'll see has been adjusted slightly in the video, then it could be a triple top and a speculative short against the trend. So again, watch the video if you want to see the whole reasons. Now I've played the whole of that video. That was the signal, but there was actually a training video which explained the entire reasons for doing the whole thing. I know I made some subtle adjustments to things, but it explains quite a lot about why I never trade the news, etc. And to me at the time, the market looked something like this, and it was going up very strongly. And I said that I was going to short it, and I actually said a 1 by 1 in the video. It was a mistake. I meant the 1 by 2 angle coming down from here. The 1 by 1 is what gave us the major high that we had back in 2010, and so that's what I was waiting for. Now before we got to my level, it collapsed very quickly, and there's a great temptation to go and think, oh, it's not quite got there, and jump into the market. Now if you would have done that, it would have cost you money, because in one day it recovered everything it had done in a week. And then what it did was it reached my level, which was here. It was exactly the angle, and if you actually listen to the words that I use, it's got to stop exactly on the angle. So it got to the angle, and that's where I said I thought the market was a short, and I shorted it, and this is what happened. It was the top of the market before the crash down. So again, I think pretty amazing if you think about it. I got the exact day of the top of the market in May. So that was the last of the signals I gave on the 11th of March. The next ones I gave were on the 14th, not March, of April. Next ones I gave were on the 14th of April, and I just gave the one which was the pound against the Swedish Krona. So let's see what I said in that one. Now we're approaching quite a lot of resistance on the pound against the Swedish Krona at 9.9, which is here. Now I'm going to do another training video to explain the reasons why. So this is the focus signal. So watch the training video for a full explanation of the signal. Sorry about the lining up problem there. I realised that wasn't showing the bottom of the chart, but basically the pound against Swedish Krona looked like this to me. You can see once again that the major trend was in favour of the Swedish Krona against the pound, and I was looking for a major buying opportunity, and I said in the video at 9.9, which is actually here. So let's actually see what actually happened. The market went back up again, came back down again, reached 9.9 exactly, pretty much, and then it happens to be the exact bottom of the market, and it hasn't been lower since. Now it hasn't done anything spectacular, and it's probably, from a trading point of view, once you're in it, it's been very difficult because it's been run up and down like a yo-yo, but it was the exact turning point of the pound against the Swedish Krona. And that's with me knowing absolutely nothing whatsoever about the pound against the Swedish Krona. Now the next signals I did in April were on the 18th, so if we click on the 18th, we'll see a list of what I've done. I had two signals. One was on the dollar against the Swiss franc, and one was on cattle feeder. So let's start by clicking on the dollar against the Swiss franc. Now this is the dollar against the Swiss franc, and I have a lot of resistance all coinciding down here. It's about 0.875, which I think could be quite important to watch for a change in trend. For the reasons for it in full, I'll do a training video that you'll be able to watch. So this is the dollar Swiss franc as it looked to me at the time, and this was the level that I was looking for a major turning point. And it did actually look very, very good, in fact. But if the level's not going to work, this is exactly how I want it how to do it. So I'm waiting for it to get to the level, which it did. This is the point where I was looking for some strength in the market, and it didn't show any strength whatsoever, and just went straight through. That to me is now in a completely different situation than it was before. So here I'm interested. This day here I'm no longer interested, or maybe even the next day. This to me means it's probably going a lot lower. And one of the greatest things about the works of Gann is you know when you're wrong. Probably when you make a trade, you stay in trades longer than you should do because you don't know you're wrong. Well, as soon as it went through, like I said, I didn't make the trade, but if I would have made the trade, then I would have known that it was probably going lower. And in fact, that's what happens. And in fact, I do actually go and get the exact bottom on this in a future signal. Which was pretty unbelievable, in fact, but you have to look at the Swiss franc against the dollar to find it, so the dollar against the Swiss franc. So the next signal was cattle feeder, and again I know nothing about cattle feeder whatsoever. All I know is that we have cows that wander around fields near us, but apart from that, and what they eat I know nothing about. But it's the great thing about the works of Gann, because you know it's got nothing to do with fundamentals or supply and demand. It's all really mathematical. Then it allows you to trade things that normally you probably wouldn't consider. So let's look at the cattle feeder signal. Kind of rally, because as it stands at the moment our stop loss would have to go above all that resistance, and well, I think we'll be risking too much in a futures contract, so looking to short this one. again, massively against the trend, so maybe speculative that way. So the time cattle feeder looked like this, and I was looking for a short here. Now I actually left it too long. I had loads and loads and loads of resistance here, but just because I was too lazy to stick the signal on, it got there a lot quicker than I thought it was going to get there. And when I put the video out, we'd actually fallen to around about here. So what I was looking for was for a rally, but there was a lot of great GAN resistance at this level, and this is where I thought the market might turn. And you can see once again the major trend is way up. Yeah, everything looks fantastic. In the past it's had falls, this fall is just no bigger than the other falls that it's had on the way up. But as you'll see, I got the top of the market, although I should have given the signal out a little bit earlier, but you can see that the market collapsed massively against the trend, and then since then it's gone higher. But you follow GAN stop loss rules once you're in a trade to try and keep you in as long as possible until you get stop lossed out. So they were the signals for the 18th, and the next ones I gave were on the 19th, and it was a Swiss franc against sterling. So let's have a look at that signal. I'm watching it, maybe for a change in trend here. Again, watch the training video for all the reasons. So that's what I said back in April of last year, and this was the level I was looking for some kind of resistance, and you didn't quite hear it, but I went and said it's going to be very difficult to get in, probably, and I was looking for it to get there, and it got there, and that put me off making the trade, and luckily but it didn't actually work and it went higher, so I didn't get that one right. But again, if I would have made the trade here, I would have got out, because I would have had a stop loss above this high and got stop lossed out. But as I said, I didn't actually do it, but I didn't really get a good reason to enter the market, so I didn't get that one right, one of the few. Now the last signal for April, I did on the 21st of the 4th, and it was on the dollar against the euro. So let's have a look at that one. I've got loads and loads of currency buys for the dollar at the moment. You'll see in focus there's one on the Swiss franc, there's one on the Canadian dollar to buy US dollars, there's I think there's one on the Swedish Krona. But a lot of currencies have got to a critical point. If it goes through this level, then all bets are off. The dollar's going to probably continue to weaken. But as of today, we need to see some strength here, possibly for a buying opportunity for the dollar. Okay, so I played the last of the end part of the signal, and you probably heard that I said that I had loads of reasons to buy the dollar against pretty much everything. So I was pretty bullish on the dollar at this stage, which was completely opposite to what everybody else thought at the time. The dollar was collapsing against pretty much everything. It was right in the middle of the everyone talking about hyperinflation, etc. in the United States because of quantitative easing, etc. But I thought this looked like a good time to buy the market. Unfortunately, it went a little bit lower than I was expecting it to go, which was a real shame, but I was right. The market went through my level by too much for me to actually decide to go and do it, but I wasn't buying the euro, I wasn't short in the dollar. I was actually looking for reasons to buy the dollar, which I did get on some other currencies, so let's see what happens. It happens to be the lowest that the dollar has been against the euro since. So although I didn't get the entry point exactly right, I was right about the dollar and that the dollar was strengthening. So all in all, those were the signals from April. I got one or two wrong, but in the most, pretty much everything I said came to pass once again. So I hope you enjoyed it.